Welcome to this issue of the Japan Headlines. First up, October 3rd, you're invited to attend our Japan market update. We have guest speaker Bob Takai from EEX to talk about futures and more information on an annual update. Go to the skippingstone.com website and register. Hope to see you. Second headline, it's always fun to report when trading volume increases, and I'm sure Bob will, at the webinar, will talk more about what EEX keeps gaining in Japan. KEPCO's battery, and there's a lot more batteries in Japan coming. The auction held earlier this year had, I think, 18, 19 winners. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. But they're planning to immediately start playing, and already are playing, in the balancing market, spot market. And I think that's really good news because the balancing market could use more liquidity, which will also help the physical trading liquidity. So the hydrogen fund raised $400 million US. That's being earmarked for subsidizing various and sundry hydrogen projects within Japan. More on this later with METI's funding. So Henri and the government plan to invest, I should say, about $7 trillion in the transmission to increase the capacity between the utilities so they can, that makes that better. And more importantly, bring offshore wind into onshore population centers like Tokyo and Osaka. Recently, they've reviewed this because it's probably not enough, but we'll see. So on top of the hydrogen fund for $400 million, METI's kicking another bunch of money in to also subsidize projects, because METI and the government are all in on getting hydrogen to be a real factor in Japan. I know their goal is to be #1 in the world like they are in LNG imports. So LNG is interesting because earlier this year, if you're watching and following these, LNG stocks were down coming out of the winter. In fact, the winter was even lower than normal. And now they jumped back up. This is an indication of term and long-term contracts for LNG are still there, but they're diminishing and more on spot as power prices have more volatility than pre-deregulation. So this jump is to cover the summer peaks. So what Japan calls non-fossil fuel certificates, in the US and parts of the world known as RECs, renewable energy credits, the trading volume is almost tripled in this last auction. They only hold auctions 4 times a year for these things. Eventually, we believe J credits run by the Tokyo Stock Exchange will be more popular than NFC's non-fossil certificates. We'll see where that happens. So in this one, in any other market in the world, like we'll take PGM in the US, if you don't perform on capacity, there's a penalty. That somehow didn't make the news when this headline came out. So the Government for Green Transformation, which they call GX, has slotted or proposing over yen 1 trillion for budget for next year, fiscal year starting in April 1st. A lot of that similar to IRA funding, except typically in Japan, they subsidize existing projects, kind of like the hydrogen one, previous headline, where they're funding 75%, not always 75%, but different values for different projects. And anyway, I hope to see you October 3rd. Thanks for watching.